everybody, son, Goshoku live here for my review of Night 2 of WWE SummerSlam 2026. All right, so the very first match was supposed to start off with Sami Zayn versus Finn Bálor, but no. We were given a big swerve. So Nick Aldis comes out, once again going back to his duties as general manager of SmackDown, and it's through there that he ends up saying that he has put the past behind us or the past behind him and has basically made amends with Gunther and introduces him as the third participant, which Sami Zayn is absolutely livid at because, man, this guy has been through the ringer, especially trying to get that world title back. But then he says, nah, we still got one more. And it is none other than the return of Kevin Owens to a massive pop. I got out of my seat watching. I was like, yes, let's go. Kevin Owens, man, because what he went through with his neck over the last year and a half, not knowing if he would get back or not, here he is. Kevin Owens made it back, worked hard, and was in this match. Fans were going crazy. You had people in the audience crying. Just it was great to see. A huge moment. And so this match ended up becoming a fatal four-way, which, I mean, Finn Bálor versus Sami Zayn, you knew that was going to be an awesome match. But you put Kevin Owens and Gunther in the mix, man, you are going to get some great in-ring action, and great in-ring action did we get. So Kevin Owens versus Finn Bálor versus Sami Zayn versus the Ring General Gunther. So the match was very much off to a hot start. Kevin Owens was flying everywhere with punches, taking out Gunther, taking out Finn Bálor. Sami Zayn was shocked. He was looking, my man was up here, Sami Zayn, looking like he saw a ghost the whole time during the whole entrance while everybody's going like, yay, oh my gosh, I can't believe it, Kevin Owens is back. Sami was like, y'all know, if you're a big Dragon Ball fan, it's not uncommon in the world of Dragon Ball or anime to see big giant reactions like, That's exactly what Sami Zayn was like through the whole thing. And so, yeah, he saw a ghost, and the two of them end up hugging and embracing for what I have to say was probably a very real moment. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, the best of friends over the last quarter century. And then from there, after the embrace, they just start punching each other and everything. The match was filled with a lot of great offense, with Bálor doing some of big spots everywhere. Gunther kept really applying his sleeper a lot throughout the moments in the match. He would keep working as like a great interception. So like he gets his like when Sami Zayn would get up to go ahead and do like the haluva kick, you would end up seeing Gunther go in the middle, and he just go ahead and lock that sleeper hold on and everything and stuff. So it was really great how they utilized that. There's a point in the match where Kevin Owens, he does the same, the senton bomb? I can't even remember. My mouth is all bearing, but he does the Jeff Hardy thing, swanton bomb and everything to Sami Zayn in his knees. Basically, he gets the back of his knees, but he ends up selling his neck, and they're playing up the fact that Kevin Owens' neck, he's fresh off of coming back from neck surgery and everything, and so that's going to really be targeting. And it is from there, we get towards like the end of the match, and Kevin Owens, he just starts going crazy, just laying everybody out in the match with the Stone Cold Stunner. And I should say that this is the Stone Cold endorse Stunner, as long as he wins the match with it. That's what Stone Cold was saying. He's like, all right, son, you go ahead and do that Stone Cold Stunner, but you better make sure you win that damn match. 1, 2, 3. And Kevin Owens, he wins it when he usually uses it. So yeah, which good, it protects the Stunner. If you're gonna use a Stunner, show why it was one of the most devastating finishers in WWE history. What Stone Cold used to say, I'll drop you on that stack of dimes you call a neck. What? Oh my gosh, good moments, everything. You guys all know I'm a big Stone Cold Steve Austin fan. And actually Kevin Owens said during the post conference that he thought Stone Cold was insane for thinking that when he came out, he wasn't getting that big of a reaction. He thought that people had forgot him, because when you see Stone Cold coming out there WrestleMania 38, he's looking in the crowd. I thought he's just posing for the audience, but maybe he was actually trying to figure out what the heck was going on. And so from there, Kevin Owens said he understand now, because when he got there, he says just that you can't hear the loud reaction when you're looking at the stage, but once you get in the ring, it all hits you and everything. Yo, shout out to my boy Gino in the chat. What's good, man? Thanks for joining. And so as we get over here to the match towards the end, Kevin Owens, he indeed hits the Stone Cold Stunner on Sami Zayn, who I thought did a really fantastic sell. He once he drops to his knees, he bounces up and he stiffens his entire body up and goes and turns to his back. Looked phenomenal, looked devastating. devastating. Looked like he definitely got stunned, making sure the move lives up to the name. And Sami Zayn, after he gets the 1-2-3 pinfall on the receiving end, that is, Kevin Owens, he gets the big victory. Audience goes wild with Kevin Owens and everything. And man, we now are on a collision course for the WWE Championship. Kevin Owens versus CM Punk. Oh, man. Can you just imagine? The match is going to be good. But can you just imagine the promo battles? And for those of you who have followed Kevin Owens before he was Kevin Owens, going back to Kevin Steen days, I'm pretty sure you all are very familiar with the history of him and CM Punk outside of the WWE, as well as what can be happening here. You know, when it comes to the WWE side of things, CM Punk ended up leaving the same year that Kevin Owens ended up coming into the main roster. So it is going to be phenomenal. And this is definitely I'm looking forward to the fall, heading into the fall now for WWE SmackDown, because I think this definitely freshens things up and things of that nature. Because when you look at everyone in this match, they could have gone back to CM Punk versus Sami Zayn. We just saw that. They could have gone back to CM Punk versus Gunther. We saw that once last year, but Kevin Owens, it's a match we've never seen. And I like to see opponents, basically. I like to see when it's newcomers, basically, against it. You know, shout out to in the chat there, Notorious Heel podcast. I was listening to some of the stuff they were saying last night in their review, and I think it was something they mentioned about AJ Lee, how they wanted to see AJ Lee take on wrestlers who she never took on before. And when you do have a legend come back to WWE, I want to see them compete in new fresh matches that we haven't seen in WWE. Don't like spend this precious time you have with someone who's back for a limited amount of time and just do the same match over and over with them, and mostly do matches that they've done before. So CM Punk's back. Yeah, let's see him go in there against Kevin Owens, something new that we haven't seen in the WWE ring yet. So I definitely thought this is the right decision. It's really good, and honestly, you can make a really good storyline here, how Kevin Owens can brag on a mic, said, hey, I came back and on my first night, I did more work to earn that shot at the title than you did, CM Punk, just walking right in here. So, man, that would be something, and things of that nature and stuff like that. Jacob says, goodbye. I'm quitting YouTube and focusing my wrestling career and other stuff. Goodbye, Chad. Well, hey, we wish you the best, Jacob. Wrestling is a very tough profession, no doubt, to make it in just from listening to everybody. But I wish you all the best in professional wrestling. It's going to be a tough career, but you have the hard work and determination. I believe you can definitely make it. So best wishes to you. Thank you for letting us know in the chat. So then, yeah, but getting back to this match here, we're going to talk about the ending here. Let me get a quick water break. All right, so at the post show, Kevin Owens, he did a lot talking about how he never knew if he was going to come back or not. And it was hard. Big E was a big help to him, his friends, his family. He gave a shout out to a lot of the people that worked with him, from trainers who was doing all the therapy with him, the physical therapy to get him back right. The surgeons and his assistant, the surgeon and his assistant. So really good things. And this is really cool right here. He gave a big shout out to Tanea Brooks, the Rebel. Yeah, he gave a big shout out to Tanea Brooks, who, of course, wrestling fans know better as Rebel. And I want to get the quote right here of what he said. There's somebody called Tanea Brooks who's known to wrestling fans as Rebel. She has not wrestled here, but some things are bigger than wrestling. She's currently battling ALS, and the way she's doing it is so incredible. I look at her and what she was going through and the way she powered through it, and it was truly inspirational. Man, that hit emotionally hard, because it was really cool for Kevin Owens to give that shout out to Rebel, because yeah, it is terrible what Rebel is going through. But through it all, and I've been seeing her videos building awareness of ALS, and to see that despite her body breaking down on her, it's still all there. She said in one of her videos, it's still her. It's still her inside there. Still the same brain, still the same personality. And hearing her laugh and still show that type of courage and strength, and still try to bring awareness through what she's going through, it is truly inspirational. And I really think it's cool that Kevin Owens went out of his way to give her a shout out there on WWE programming, because like you said, there are some things that are better than that are more important than pro wrestling, and that's definitely one of them. This is truly, it's not a wrestling thing, it's not an AEW thing, it's not a WWE thing. This is an inspiring thing, building awareness thing, and just taking the moment to recognize her strength, and the fact that her strength was able to be something inspirational. Kevin Owens, I think, is truly remarkable. And I'll say too, I remember watching Rebel going back on TNA wrestling and seeing her come into AEW, and always thought, yeah, and she's entertaining and everything and stuff like that. And through it all, I just want to say definitely hearts, prayers, everything with Rebel. I want to say thank you, Rebel, for all that you have given to professional wrestling, all your contributions, and us wrestling fans. I'm pretty sure I can speak for all of us. We are wishing you the absolute best through this difficult time. Continue to fight and build awareness, and to definitely know that you showing so much strength with what you're going through, it is inspiring to all of us, and it's building awareness. And just once again want to say thank you, Rebel, for your contributions to professional wrestling, and even more, thank you for your inspiration and how you are contributing even right now. Thank you. And yeah, that's just really, really good to see. And it is great to see Kevin Owens back for sure. All right, so in the chat we got double E 9736 says Owens versus Punk versus Zayn in a triple threat for the title would be ROH historian's dream in a WWE ring. He's an old school fan right there, you can tell. Yeah, I'm definitely pretty sure we're gonna see this. And I don't think we're seeing the last of Sami Zayn, so for sure, yeah. In the title picture and things of that nature. All right, so the next match was for the WWE United States Championship. Baron Corbin versus Trick Williams with Little Yachty. All right, so Baron Corbin comes out, but I wish he was still using, was it the, what was the song that he had with Jim Johnson? I think, was his song also called The End of Days? I forget. If not, I know that's the name of his finisher move, but yeah, I wish he still had that theme song. That was Jim Johnson's last song with WWE. But yeah, it's been cool to see Baron Corbin come back and everything. And Little Yachty is introduced as the self-proclaimed greatest man to ever breathe. And I believe that's what Alicia Taylor said. I'm like, okay, well, you know, you got to have confidence in yourself. That's for sure. He definitely thinks highly of himself and stuff. But yeah, I have loved the Little Yachty and Trick Williams pairing and everything and stuff like that. All right, so Baron Corbin and Trick Williams, they trade blows a lot. Eventually outside the ring, Baron Corbin, he gets into it with Little Yachty and pushes him into the barricade, only for Little Yachty to go ahead and bring out a metal pipe. Corbin backs off and gets in the ring. As wisely pointed out by Wade Barrett on commentary, Corbin doesn't want to risk a disqualification victory, meaning he wouldn't get the title. But when the referee's not looking, Little Yachty actually hits Baron Corbin in the back with the metal pole or pipe, and the referee didn't get to see it. I'm pretty sure he heard it, but he didn't get to see it. So I guess he just wants to, you know, basically put it in a place where, you know, he's going to be lenient because he knows the championship's on the line. But towards the end of the match, Little Yachty tries to get involved because Baron Corbin grabs the United States title and tries to use it while the referee is distracted with Trick Williams. So Little Yachty stops Baron Corbin, and in the process, Trick Williams runs towards the ring apron to try and push off Baron Corbin. Corbin is able to escape, and Yachty ends up accidentally going through the table to the outside, while Baron Corbin Corbin and the referee are distracted by little Yachty's well-being. Like, is he okay? Is he going to be all right? Both of them are looking off. Baron Corbin, he takes this opportunity. He grabs up the Fur United States Championship title, which that's definitely something. I thought it was funny and everything, but I didn't ever get too bent out of shape. I know some wrestling fans probably don't like it because it goes against tradition, but hey, I actually did dug the United States and WWE Championship designs John Cena made back in the day, so the fur coat didn't bother me. It's something that makes Trick Williams stand out, and I think it fits his character perfectly. But yeah, in the meantime, with the Fur United States Championship, Baron Corbin, he whacks it across the face of Trick Williams, and then the referee stops checking on Yachty, and he comes over as Baron Corbin makes the pinfall. 1, 2, 3. Baron Corbin, that quickly right back to WWE, is once again the WWE United States Champion. And man, I was flabbergasted. I was like, this genuine shocked me. And this is why it shocked me, you know, because Triple H, he was talking on the post-conference about reactions, and basically, I'm thinking Trick Williams, he's a young and upcoming guy, and he gets one of the hottest reactions, arguably the hottest young thing with the audience in WWE today, next to probably Obafemi. I can make sense of it. I'm like, I just can't. Like, I'm flabbergasted because I'm like, man, you got a guy who's Trick Williams, he's young, he's over with the audience, and I would assume that you want to keep pushing that forward, and you're probably going to use someone like Baron Corbin, who's an established veteran, to use that to further help establish someone like Trick Williams. But that's not the direction. Instead, regardless of the reactions, regardless of all that, I'm not sure as far as what went in there. They wanted to put the title right back on Baron Corbin and reestablish him as a threat on the main roster. And, you know, nothing against Baron Corbin either, because Corbin's one of those guys who, you know, during the later years of Vince McMahon, from the 2010s, you know, going back to like the reality era, early into the pandemic area, Baron Corbin's someone who got a lot of flack. You know, they threw everything and different gimmicks all at him, and different characters. And I say to Corbin, I've always praised him because this guy tried to make everything work. Everything, you know, the Constable Corbin, you know, even when they had like him being the bum Corbin and stuff, he tried to make everything work. And in the end, he was really getting something there when he was teaming up with Braun Breaker. And then, of course, they released him, and now he's back. So it is cool to see Corbin get another chance. I just thought they wouldn't want to cool off Trick Williams' momentum here, especially when I'm not sure if they're going to be putting him right into that world title picture. I'm like, okay, this is good. Build him up as the United States champion, build him up as the mid-card champion. He's gotten over as a babyface. It looks like they finally have embraced him as a babyface, just as the audience has done so. But yeah, I guess it is what it is there, and things of that nature and stuff like that. Yeah, it is what it is there when it comes to it. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see where they go with Trick Williams. I just hope, I mean, I don't think his reactions to the audience is gonna cool off, but yeah, I just think that when you got momentum and it's hot, you're running the ball with it. We'll see where this goes. Like I said, if anything comes out of this, hopefully it is a renewed push for Baron Corbin, and we see that push get to Baron Corbin where he's able to be this character that is just, I think, probably more closer to himself than what they were giving him in the mid-2010s there. But yeah, man, I definitely would have loved to seen Trick Williams continue on as the United States champion and continue to build that up. So we'll see where things go from here. I just hope this is not them cooling off on Trick Williams, and they're still going to push full throttle with him because he is one of the hottest young acts over with the audience right now in WWE. So yeah, I definitely love to hear what you all think in the chats, or if you're reading in the comments on this decision. Do you think it was right? Do you think now is the time to take the title off of Trick Williams to build up Baron Corbin? Or would you have liked to see Trick Williams continue being built up as the United States champion and use someone like Baron Corbin to continue to elevate him? Want to know definitely what you all were thinking there. All right, let's see what we got here. Our next match here, we've got, oh, I missed my place here. Okay, the women's 5 women. All right, here we go. All right, and now it is the next match, the 5-woman ladder match to determine the interim WWE Women's World Championship. Lash Legend versus Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill versus Chelsea Green. All right, so basically for this match, I did have, to be upfront with you guys, I did have some unforeseen issues that came up during this match, so I was kind of trying to balance keeping my eye on the match and trying to take notes, and then also dealing with some issues that was going on, but everything ended up being okay. But based on what I did see of this match, I can definitely say it looked like it was straight fire. A lot of cool ladder spots. I really did like the part where Tiffany Stratton got power bomb onto the ladder by Lash Legend, because Lash Legend was definitely looking like an absolute beast in this match. And shout out to, we had a lot of I think it was Prince, a lot of Prince tributes going on with Tiffany Stratton. I almost got it mixed up there because I wanted to say Tiffany, but then I want to say Prince, and it kind of almost ended up sounding like Trish, right? So yeah, a lot of Prince, being that they were in Minnesota, a lot of Prince tributes, with Tiffany Stratton wearing white and purple, Jade Cargill's wearing white and purple, even the baddies, B-Fab and Mia Yim came out wearing purple and white. By the way, if you haven't been to the airport over in Minnesota, there's a whole dedicated what am I saying? Trent, man. I really want to say Tiffany Stratton and Prince, and I keep fusing it like that. I want to say check out the Prince. If you haven't been to Minnesota, if you ever get the chance to go to Minnesota airport, check out the Prince dedicated store they have. It is really cool. But yeah, getting back to the match here, the audience, they were super hot for Chelsea Green anytime she got close to the title. Every time she kept getting close, climbing that ladder and nearly grabbing the title, fans were going absolutely wild. There was a part where Tiffany Stratton is on top and she's about to grab it. Of course, Tiffany Stratton, she's from Minnesota, but Chelsea Green, they've kind of formed an alliance recently. Chelsea's like, I don't know what to do, and Tiffany's like, don't do it, and Chelsea's like, I gotta do it, and then she pushes the ladder over, and Tiffany, to improvise so she doesn't fall straight down, she ends up doing the senton/swanton bomb, and then takes out all the women in the front outside and everything. And as the match was going on, towards the end, it was really coming down to Jade Cargill and Charlotte Flair, and I figured they probably weren't gonna win this match because I was figuring they would cancel each other out, since their feud was originally supposed to be a non-title match at SummerSlam, but of course with Rhea Ripley's injury, they had to improvise. And so Chelsea, her legs is actually all caught up and she's like hanging upside down. So once Jade Cargill and Charlotte Flair cancel each other out, take each other out, they fall from the ladder. Chelsea uses her core strength to put her up, so pull herself up, and she starts climbing on top of the up to the top of the ladder, and the audience starts going wild. And Michael Cole is there she goes wild and everything. The audience goes wild, and as Chelsea Green climbs up the ladder, she grabs the Women's World Championship. And I really love this. You see the audience, they do a panning shot, and you see the audience all just jumping up with their arms up and stuff. I ended up jumping out of my seat, cheering like, yeah, let's go. And what it reminded me of, going back to SummerSlam 1998, there's a great shot when Triple H grabbed the Intercontinental Championship from the ladder after Chyna gives The Rock the low blow and causes him to go down, and Triple H is just holding the title. You just see all of the Madison Square Garden audience behind him all just rise up out of their seats cheering and everything, super happy. That's kind of what it reminded me, seeing that wonderful shot of that. And Michael Cole is very happy about this. He acknowledged her as a world champion. So it looks like even the interim world championships will count as in the official record books as being a world champion, which I wasn't sure if they were going to do that, because I was like, if they're not, then it's like these women are just fighting a glorified number one contenders match. And it's like, what does it mean to even hold that title? Because I know in UFC, if you're an interim world champion, you are still considered in the record books a world champion, even if you end up losing to the previous world champion that comes back and you don't win the Undisputed World Championship. So yeah, I was a little shocked in terms of this. Like, Chelsea Green is someone who I wouldn't have mind winning, but I just didn't see it the way they've booked her. And Chelsea Green, in even her own interviews, have said she wouldn't want to take on like a more serious, dramatic character because she knows that with WWE you get more opportunities by being that character that they can always rely on when they know, okay, we can put her out there, she'll be entertaining, do something funny and everything. But yeah, this was a welcome addition. It's just with the way Chelsea's been built up, I don't know if they were going to build her up as a serious opponent where Rhea Ripley's going to come back in her face, get in her face and be like, you've done well to become world champion, and I see how dominant you've been. You've been dominating everybody in the division, but you haven't dominated me, and now mommy's back. You know, I think she was going to come out and say something like that. Like, it's hard to see them putting Chelsea in not like that face-to-face, like when they did Charlotte and Jade against face-to-face with Rhea Ripley, whereas Tiffany Stratton, I'm like, okay, maybe they want to make Tiffany the first ever woman to hold the United States women's title and the world title, and Tiffany Stratton's a big match I don't think they've done yet with her and Rhea Ripley. She's been saying that she wants to have that match, so I'm thinking like, yeah, it just seems like I'm thinking they're gonna go with the safe bet. They'll go ahead and put it on Tiffany Stratton because they know they can have her carry the division, because arguably I think Tiffany Stratton, she's had the best women's championship run, I think, out of like the last some of the four champions. Like, compared to Jade Cargill, Io Sky, and Liv Morgan, Tiffany actually was defending her world championship on a regular basis, beating legends and top names today, even if they did spam her and Nia Jax a lot for during that title reign. And so yeah, they went with Chelsea Green, and I'm glad for it because and I told my friends in our chat, I said, I'm so happy for Chelsea Green. She has worked so hard to get here. Freaking awesome, because she goes back. You know, and I'm like, even if she only has it for a short period of time, like Sami Zayn, and just gonna drop it to Rhea Ripley as in the Undisputed Championship match right away, they can never take this away from her. Chelsea Green will forever go down in WWE history as a women's world champion, and it is so well earned. And I mean, I go back, Chelsea Green, I remember I first saw her when she did that storyline in 2014, about 11 years ago, where she was the therapist for Daniel Bryan, and she was sort of the mistress therapist, and the idea was to try and accuse her as Daniel Bryan, as the one Daniel Bryan was cheating with on Brie Bella. And of course it all turned out to be a lie from the Authority and everything like that, and she ended up getting beaten up by Brie Bella, which is something they can definitely play up on if they ever want to go that route now that Brie Bella's back. Hopefully she gets well soon. But yeah, to go from that, the going on Tough Enough, I remember, and she getting cut, and she has so much passion for the business, and she went into TNA, and you know, on the independent scene, TNA, she really made a name for herself, came back to WWE, got released by WWE, kept getting injured, and she said even now she was supposed to have a lot of her girlfriends from Canada come on up, but then Canada, something happened with the airport where they stopped traveling from the Canada border into the US border, and she's like, man, something can't go right. And she even dedicated this win to Michael Hayes, and I can imagine on the WWE Unreal show they might come out. It's gonna be interesting to see what Michael Hayes says. Is it gonna be a thing where he'll basically be like, you know, I was wrong, Chelsea Green proved me wrong, and I'm gonna stand here completely wrong? Or will it be a thing where he's gonna be like, you know, see, we got him, we got the fans, you gotta always let them know they're not in control. You gotta look, because I think that's what he said about Roman Reigns winning the 2015 Royal Rumble on one of these WWE documentaries or DVD releases and stuff. Like, was this all part of the plan? And the thing about Unreal, I shout out to Geekdom 101, who also runs his channel, The World of Geekdom. He says the thing about Unreal, and I believe him on it, I'm with him 100% on it, they tell you what they want you to know. It's hard to tell what are they trying to do. Are there certain parts that are part of their own story narrative, or are we seeing the legit thing? Who knows? For all we know, this is something they put in there just to go ahead and make it something to where it looked like Chelsea Green was never going to win, and then she does, or if that was his real feelings. Even The Undertaker was basically, when he interviewed Michael Hayes, he was like, yeah, he thinks Chelsea Green basically has needed to start earning more than what she's given. Like, she deserves more, and Chelsea has earned it. She has worked so hard to get to this point, become world champion. So very much like her husband did in 2016, he ended up becoming the Intercontinental Champion at WrestleMania. She ends up becoming the world champion, but she got her big moment just like her husband got his big moment last year. So, hey, yeah, hopefully we can see Matt Cardona get that world title reign one of these days too. But yeah, like I said, overall, I couldn't be more happy for Chelsea Green. This is great. Great to finally see it. You love to see it. I don't know how long the title reign is going to last, how long Rhea's going to be out, but yeah, and now that Chelsea's the world champion, would love to see her pick up some big wins. So it is so well earned, and I'm glad to see her get her moment. That is for sure. All right, we come to our next match, which I know a lot of wrestling fans would say is probably right out of the Vince Russo playbook, bro. It's always been said when Vince Russo was booking the pole match and everything and stuff like that. And I'm not one of these people that will, bash Vince Russo. Like, I get it. I understand there were some ideas, a lot of ideas, obviously, that didn't pan out with him, but I do think he contributed his fair share to the wrestling business, particularly in the Attitude Era, when he had a good filter and stuff, when he had someone to filter his ideas and everything. Yeah, got to give respect to everybody who's contribute when it came to pro wrestling. But that being said, a Human Monies on a pole match. Dominik Mysterio versus the undefeated Danhausen. I think WWE has done an incredible job with Danhausen. When he was in AEW, I didn't get Danhausen. I didn't know who he was. And I'm like, it never really appealed to me. But you take a character like him, you put him in the WWE marketing machine, and WWE's always been good at knowing how to basically take characters and turn them into merchandise, printing money machines and stuff like that. And that's what they've done. And I think the stuff they've done with Danhausen has definitely been entertaining. They got mainstream publicity when he like cursed the Knicks and then uncursed them. I don't follow NBA. I don't follow the sports and everything. Nothing against sports, but it's just not my type of thing that I follow and everything. But that being said, WWE took advantage of that, as they should, with the publicity they got, the mainstream publicity they got from it. So Danhausen comes out with Bret Hart inspired gear, and I thought it looked really awesome. Great way to pay respect to the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. Bret Hitman Hart. But the match starts off with pretty standard back and forth action. There's a hilarious part on commentary where Michael Cole mentions this will be a spectacle and Human Monies, and in which case Wade Barrett responds, Human Monies? He's like, what other money is there other than human money? So I thought that was a pretty funny line. It doesn't take too long for shenanigans to get started in this match. JD McDonough comes out and basically ends up coming out to interfere, and JD McDonough, he ends up attacking. He ends up getting attacked by the mini Danhausens, and he just starts choke slamming them. And these are some massive choke slams. I mean, JD McDonough is not the biggest guy on the roster, but when you're putting him up against little people here, and he's picking them up with one arm and choke slamming them like he's the Big Show, choke slamming cruiserweights, it looked devastating, right? But yeah, they started fighting back and doing some impressive moves, because I think one of them is the former El Torito, right? And so he starts doing some Hurricane Ranas and high flying maneuvers, and he does like a jumping torpedo spin and in the ring, and even does a tornado DDT, and at one point he does a suicide dive into like a senton bomb, and it basically like looks like he bounces right off of Dominik Mysterio's shoulders, and his head even goes in a barricade as Dominik still catches him, but they go on the ground. Just wow, yeah, it looked pretty crazy. From here though, Joe Hendry eventually comes out to take out JD McDonough as he smashes the guitar over JD McDonough's back, Jeff Jarrett style, and Wade Barrett makes a joke on commentary that no one should ever smash guitars like that. They're very valuable items. So towards the end of the match, Dominik Mysterio almost has a bag full of human monies, but then an explosion happens out of nowhere because Dominik Mysterio has been cursed by Danhausen, and from there, Dominik Mysterio falls to the outside of the ring, and Danhausen grabs the human monies and wins. And after this is pretty insane right here. I thought this was probably one of the funniest things in terms of this whole ordeal. Danhausen pretty much decides to take the human monies and starts flinging them into the audience at the front row. And I'm like, these people paid so much money for the. Did you guys see the ticket prices for them? I'm like, I'm pretty sure these people got money. I'm pretty sure, even if they didn't pay for it, I'm pretty sure someone who ever gifted them got money. So one way or another, whether they know someone who got money or they got money themselves, somewhere connected to them, they got money for those front rows. So maybe it's their way of saying, okay, we're going to give you some of that money back, throwing it back to the front row. I was thinking that if you're going to give that money out, start going all the way to the top of the edges, because even those people up in the, as they call them, the nosebleeds, they paid some good money to come to the show. So yeah, even I think gives it to Nick Khan's son, and I'm like, we know Nick Khan got money for sure. So yeah, I and then you've got Michael Cole, you've got Wade Barrett. They're begging for some of the money, and as it turns out, it's basically fake money with Danhausen's face on them and everything. But yeah, I just thought that was kind of funny when you know how much them tickets cost and all that stuff and everything. But overall, I thought the match was entertaining. I was somewhat sports entertained by it, but I thought it was better. I actually thought it was better than, and this is a little spoiler for my ranking match, kind of thought it was a little bit more, it was more entertaining than the 6-women tag match from yesterday. It did entertain me more, so I'll talk more in depth about that why when it comes to the ranking that I'll be doing tomorrow or Tuesday when I rank the matches and stuff like that. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a fun match. I'm not going to rank this match high, but yeah, I thought it was entertaining for what it was. You knew it was going to be a comedy match, and that's what you got out of there and stuff. So I mean, if you were expecting anything other than if you were expecting something like this is going to be a classic technical wrestling brawl, then I don't know what you were expecting, because what in the storyline and the way this whole storyline has been brought about, what made you think it would be elsewise? So it was entertaining for what it was. All right, we're going to get to our next match for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. Penta versus Chad Gable. All right, you got a lot of, see, now if you want a great technical wrestling match and you were expecting that Human Monies match, you weren't going to get it, but you got it here. And if you expected the opposite, this is going to be a comedy match, and I don't know what you were watching and everything. I mean, everybody interprets professional wrestling different, but yeah. That being said, man, this is a lot of great technical wrestling starting out. Great chain wrestling, high flying action in one. Chad Gable was definitely doing his inner Kurt Angle with lots of chain German suplexes. There's some other cool spots where Chad Gable does a moonsault in midair, and Penta ends up super kicking him to avoid it right in midair. It looked great. A lot of the match really comes down to Chad Gable selling the shoulder, and Penta does his best to work the shoulder, even putting him in a submission hold where he snaps the shoulder, back and everything with his arm going back. And at one point, I believe Chad Gable, he goes for a super kick. He does like his best Shawn Michaels to Ric Flair WrestleMania 24 impression when he says, "I'm sorry." When he yells mouths, he goes like, "I'm sorry," and then does the kick. There's also a part where Chad Gable does eventually land a flying headbutt, which I'm surprised they're still doing that, given the stories of what we've heard that move caused when it comes to like some of Daniel Bryan's neck issues. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that helped contribute to one of the things that was a big contribute to Daniel Bryan's neck issues, possibly the flying headbutt. Once again, I stand corrected if I am wrong on that, but I heard it did a lot of that move did a lot of damage to Dynamite Kid and Chris Benoit. The horrificness that came out of that, just absolute horror that came out of that. I'm like, man, I'm surprised there's still letting wrestlers do that flying headbutt, but it is what it is there, in things like that nature. Once again, I could be wrong, and if I am, I stand totally corrected. If the flying headbutt did not actually contribute a lot to the names that I just mentioned, then like I said, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments and stuff and everything. I'll definitely admit to that, and I own up to that. But that being said, there is a cool part where Chad Gable, I think he does like he goes for a flying headbutt or a splash, and Penta catches him in the leg and goes under his legs and stuff, and he basically locks in the ankle lock. No. Penta did catch him in a submission when Chad Gable came flying, so I got it mixed up there in the notes. But yeah, towards the end though, Chad Gable is able to get Penta's leg, go up under Penta's legs, and then basically get him into an ankle lock, and then he does a full body mount across Penta's leg with the ankle lock still applied, and Penta immediately in the middle of the ring starts tapping out, and Minnesota goes absolutely wild for their hometown boy Chad Gable, who has finally become a singles WWE champion with the Intercontinental Championship, winning it in for the first time. Man, he's been on the main roster in a decade. Penta also shakes Gable's hand and gives the Intercontinental Championship and wraps it around his waist to Chad Gable, and we get a beautiful moment where Chad Gable gets on the microphone and says, while standing next to his kids, his wife, and his parents, that he was born right here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and that he is the WWE Intercontinental Champion. This match and the result of it was a long time coming for Chad Gable. Chad Gable's been around for so long in WWE. It sounds like the song is starting to get over. Fans are chanting Gable, even though I do prefer the American Alpha theme. But yeah, man, we've been watching Chad Gable for so long, going back to the NXT Black and Gold days when Triple H was in charge. And you remember American Alpha to coming over here, and he knocked everything out of the things they could. Like he even said on the post show that Shorty G, those were some tough times for him, and stuff like that. And Chad Gable, he's up here, and he had to overcome so much. He had a great thing going on with Otis, and then it just kept getting shut down. And he did the Americano gimmick, and then he got injured. And he comes back, and he has a tremendous match with Ludwig Kaiser, also as El Grande Americano. And that match was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal with AAA and stuff. Undertaker, man, the stuff that Undertaker and his creative team are booking, man, good stuff there. And yeah, I'm glad that Chad Gable is getting a renewed push, as he should. He has earned it. This one is well earned, and I just hope that he gets a strong Intercontinental Championship, and hopefully Chad Gable is able to show that, hey, he is, to the higher ups there in WWE and the creative team, that, hey, he is worthy of being the world champion. And hopefully they give him a run with it one of these days and stuff. They might give him a run like Sami, just say, hey, here, you got the world title, and then we gotta get right back to the big stars, and stuff like that. But yeah, it was well earned. This is a great moment to see Chad Gable get in front of his hometown, celebrate with his whole family there. All right, it is now time for the main event for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. So Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, they get a very nice video package that showcases their 14-year history. Seth Rollins comes out. I'm not sure what he was referencing to, but it kind of reminded me of Buzz Lightyear's colors. So I don't know if it was a tribute, given that Toy Story 5 came out or something and things. So I could probably be off. I'm not sure. If not, the reference went way over my head and everything like that. But yeah, shout out, by the way, Toy Story 5 I thought was phenomenal and everything like that. But that's a whole nother story for another time. That being said, Roman Reigns, he comes out not with a Street Fighter theme entrance, because I know he's playing Akuma in the Street Fighter movie. So I'm thinking, oh, they gave Cody Rhodes a Street Fighter theme entrance. Maybe they'll give it to Roman, but no, Roman just comes out when his entrance is already good enough as it is. He comes out once again with the head of the table theme that he's been using as opposed to I Am Greatness. He's been using head of the table. He switched back to it during WrestleMania 42 earlier this year. All right, so the very start of this match, it's pretty much all Seth Rollins. Roman Reigns and Seth do a big tie-up, and Roman gets a couple of good shots in with some shoulder tackles, overpowering Rollins. But Rollins mostly just keeps outmatching Roman at everything. Every counter, and he even gets him out of the ring and keeps hitting him with the suicide dive after suicide dive. And the commentary is huge to make out how Seth Rollins is constantly staying one step ahead of Roman Reigns. So from there, Seth Rollins, he takes the announce table apart and eventually goes to another dive against Roman, but Roman is able to nail the Superman punch and hit the drive-by dropkick to Seth to finally start getting the match back in his favor. The commentators also mentioned that the referee is going to give a lot of leeway when it comes to this world title match. The battle then spills into the crowd, some typical Attitude Era brawling in the audience we get. When they're fighting, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins start fighting by this yellow steel they have, some sort of steel platform they have, and Roman Reigns suplexes him directly onto that steel, and you know that had to hurt for Seth Rollins. And then Roman goes for a spear, trying to spear Seth Rollins through the barricade, but before he can, he gets hit with a knee by Seth Rollins, which Seth Rollins jumps off the top of the barricade and lands a jumping knee right to Roman Reigns. And from there, Seth Rollins then goes in the ring to break up the count. And I'm sitting here like, man, I'm pretty sure a lot more than 10 seconds have passed by, because they went from outside the ring through the barricade and fought all around the entire audience, did the suplex spot on the steel, got back in near the where the ring where you count the ring bell. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure there was a lot more than 10 seconds. Yeah, through that whole thing. But like I said, referee's going to give a lot of leeway. The commentators did say that on commentary. So that being said, so here's something really cool that I find refreshing. We all seen the spot where time and time again someone does a running spear into the barricade. Well, this time, Seth Rollins, he tries to do Roman Reigns' warrior cry, the ooh, ah, and right before he can land the spear, Roman catches him and turns it into a guillotine, and Roman then picks Seth Rollins up and does a power bomb to Seth Rollins through the announce table. But then shortly after that, Seth Rollins ends up catching Roman Reigns and turns it into his own very power bomb through the announce table, and then there's a big dramatic 10 count to see who can get into the ring. Seth gets into the ring first. Roman barely gets in before the 10 count finishes, but immediately after, Seth Rollins hits the pedigree and lands it right in the middle of the ring and gets an extremely close near fall. Fans start chanting, "This is awesome. This is awesome." You know, and that was a great long sequence right there, and this is where the match started picking up a lot of heat and everything. And then we get another insane near fall when Seth Rollins goes for the stomp, but Roman pops up and lands the Superman punch on him. I'm telling y'all, this was a really close near fall. So Roman Reigns, he eventually gets up and he does the warrior cry, ooh, ah, right? And he runs full force at Seth Rollins, but Seth Rollins does a big leapfrog, and Roman just crashes face first at full force, running force, right into the middle of the turnbuckle and bounces off into the middle of the ring of the canvas. And Seth goes for the pin, and it's another near fall. Like, I'm telling y'all, insane near falls. Like, I knew the match wasn't gonna end, but it just kept coming so close. Like, that referee had to be like this, this is the canvas, the referee's hand was right here, and Roman's already like, oh, you know, kicking out and everything. Seth's like, oh man, these are some great near falls, man. Shout out. They literally were waiting right at I gotta say 2.9 out of 3 seconds before they decided to go ahead and land that one. But yeah, that being said, From here, Roman starts getting angry and starts trash talking Seth and trying to put him away. Roman basically getting super angry. He gets raw, he starts talking, all that trash talk to Seth Rollins, and he picks him up and he does the running back and forth in the ropes. But before he can run back and land the spear, Seth ends up jumping in midair in spear position. Roman runs into him and boom, Seth basically catches him with his own reverse into the spear. Nails Roman Reigns down, and when we get from here another insane near fall. Audience is going completely wild, jumping out of their seats. They then amp up the microphone audio so we can hear the trash talk, and Seth Rollins starts saying that the only reason that Roman is number one is because they made him number one, and now tonight he's gonna take it all back. Seth Rollins then delivers a buckle bomb to Roman Reigns and then attempts to go to the stomp, but Roman gets out of the way and then delivers a buckle bomb of his own to Seth Rollins, and then the curb stomp, and the audience is going insane. And then we get yet another near fall, and the place dang near blows up. You can see the whole audience of humanity, there's just a whole bunch of humanity jumping up and down, going crazy, man. I was on the edge of my seat. I was like, oh man, like I was so into the match and everything. And the commentary is on point as Michael Cole just starts saying he is showing how much frustration is coming out of both these guys in 14 years. Just really, I will say that Michael Cole and Wade Barrett just did a great job of illustrating Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins' facial expressions and mannerisms and what it meant. They were on point with the commentary. Really love the commentary in the match. I'm gonna take a water break. There's a lot more to talk about in this. All right, so Roman Reigns. All right, let's go ahead and start this over again. All right. So Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins are on their knees, trash talking back and forth at one another, saying mostly it's always just been me and you, and then they start colliding with blows once they get back to their feet. So the audience is going wild for each shot that they're trading back and forth and all that stuff and everything. And Roman, he smacks Seth Rollins so hard eventually that Seth goes flying into the referee, knocking him out, and Seth does another punch, does this like reverse into the clothesline where he propels himself and nails Roman Reigns, which is something that John Moxley as Dean Ambrose used to do a lot, I believe. And then I think that was his tribute to him and everything. And then Roman Reigns pulls out another tribute to John Moxley from his time as Dean Ambrose when he does the paradigm shift, the underhook suplex, the underhook DDT and stuff. And so they're both paying tribute to their former Shield brethren, John Moxley, aka Dean Ambrose, and from that time in the Shield. So it was really good how they ended up paying tribute to him, and especially since he's in AEW and things like that. So Roman, he then eventually goes for another spear, and Seth gets out of the way, and the referee gets nailed with the spear, and Roman wiped this guy out like boom, man, like he got hit with a train or something, leaving both men in the ring. And at this point, we're wondering, okay, what type of shenanigans is gonna go down? Because this match has been fire and doesn't need any interference. It just needs nothing else. It's a great one-on-one match, and we've been so conditioned in WWE that, like, okay, once the referee goes down, you hear it in the audience, because they're expecting that there's gonna be some shenanigans. And man, you guys know it, we've been through those matches that are so good one-on-one. It just needs to be one-on-one, no shenanigans, no buffoonery, no cheating. Just have these guys fight straight up and let it be it. And thankfully that's what it ended up being for this match. They just use the referee bump as a way to kind of emotionally get you invested in thinking that, it's going to happen, but then it doesn't. So there you go. That's kind of like the swerve is there was no swerve. All right. So with the referee out, Seth Rollins grabs a chair and they do the camera angle exactly as it was 12 years ago on Monday Night Raw when this all started, when Seth first turned on the Shield to join the Authority to kickstart his main event push back in 2014. But Roman senses it and turned back and smacks Rollins with the chair flying out of his hands. Roman then grabs the chair, and it looks like he's gonna hit Seth in the back, just like he wanted to, and he actually did do it at WrestleMania 40, but Roman finally lets it all go and throws the chair, which had to be a good symbolization that he's finally letting go of the past. Roman then demands that they're going to the end of this in the ring, face to face in the middle, and Michael Cole brings up on commentary, like I said, they were illustrating these mannerisms and what the wrestlers are doing. Very great, being the soundtrack to this match, how this is basically Roman saying we're going to put the past behind us and end it man to man in the ring. I thought this was tremendous character development, because that's exactly how Roman Reigns cost himself the world championship against Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 40. He had the opportunity to take out Cody Rhodes, but then he saw Seth Rollins and he couldn't let it go. He whacked Seth Rollins in the back, and that gave Cody the time he needed to recover and hit the Crossroads 1, 2, 3 and end Roman Reigns' historic 1,316-day reign as world champion, ending the fourth longest world champion reign in history. So here Roman learned from his mistakes and like, I'm not gonna let it go and everything. I'm not gonna let it go and this and stuff like that. Because some things in life is just not worth keeping on to. As I've mentioned before, that's one of the great lessons my stepfather taught me growing up, is sometimes you gotta let stuff go in life. You can't hang on to the past, so that way you can move forward for the greater good. And man, did Roman Reigns do that. The character development, the way they were able to just illustrate that with no words, just actions in the ring, was phenomenal. And both men are going back and forth, and Roman goes for a spear, but Seth Rollins hits the pedigree, which is similar to what they did in their first match in 2016 at Money in the Bank, and that's a callback to all their matches they've had ever since. And Seth goes for the curb stomp, but Roman ends up falling out of the way, and Seth goes for a second time and gets Roman this time, and he tries to go for a top rope curb stomp and goes for the super stomp. He goes for the super stomp, but Roman rolls out of the way and hits the spear in the middle of the ring, and then grabs and then he basically is able he ends up going ahead landing another spear, but the referee he ends up hitting another spear, and the referee's not in sight. So as Roman Reigns gets back to his feet, both him and Seth Rollins are looking at each other face to face. Seth with barely anything left, both with determination looks on their faces, and they both have this look of it's going one way or the other at this point. If it's going one way or the other, it has to end, and it has to end now. And one more time, Seth, he hits the spear. One more time, Roman Reigns hits the spear on Seth Rollins, and then the referee out of nowhere comes flying back in. I guess he had plenty of time to recover, and he just popped right back up. He flies into the ring, and from there, he's fully healed, and he does the 1, 2, 3, and Roman Reigns gets a 100% clean win, finally defeating Seth Rollins in a world title match for the first time in WWE history. This was phenomenal. This was fantastic. This was tremendous storytelling. Roman and Seth Rollins have had so many great matches over the years, and this is possibly, I would say, the best that they've ever had. And this is the best out of a tremendous long lineup of matches, great matches that they've had. They truly topped it. And if this is the end of the feud, this was a tremendous way for it to end. And the way it all ends up tying into Roman Reigns' character development of finally letting the past go was the cherry on top. This was truly, to me, great long-term. What the heck happened here? Something just happened on my, what just happened here? Okay, I think my OBS just stopped recording on me in the middle of here. Alrighty, some technical difficulties. Let me make sure we're still live. All right, we are still live. Something happened with my OBS. Technical difficulties. Some things can happen out of nowhere here. All right, we're going to keep on going. We are still live. MMY, thank you for joining. The chat says hi. Hey, thank you for joining. Alrighty, so as I was saying, this was where I that thing took me off completely off guard. So yeah, that was truly great long-term storytelling, and it feels like the character arc Roman. Okay, yeah. So yeah, like I was saying, that was to me truly great long-term storytelling, and it feels like the character arc for Roman with Seth has a fulfilling conclusion. That's what it felt like. And that's just the way it goes. After the match, both Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns are in the corner looking at each other. Roman then gets up. He walks to the middle of the ring and holds his fists out, just like they used to do in the days of the Shield. Seth then extends by putting the Shield mask down to the ground and collides his fists with Roman's, just like they used to do in the Shield days. Well, from there, this would have been a great moment had AEW and WWE had some sort of working relationship. It would have been cool. Just imagine the pop that would have got if out of nowhere John Moxley just randomly walks right in the middle between them and does the fist to give them both congratulations on a good match. But of course, we're not going to get that and everything. But I'm pretty sure we'll get that when the Shield goes into the Hall of Fame and things like that. And so the show ends with Roman basically mouthing that he loves you to the audience. He raises the world title, and Seth Rollins is looking back disappointed, but also with a look of respect to Roman Reigns. And as Seth Rollins looks back towards the entranceway, Roman looks back at Seth and he picks up the Shield mask, and the show ends with Roman looking at Seth with a look of respect. Wow. And this concludes what I must say overall was a great SummerSlam night 2, and I think an overall great SummerSlam weekend. Phenomenal. It was great storytelling. Man, just all around great storytelling. And I hope there is no more Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins matches. Not because it wasn't good, not because they don't got great chemistry. Obviously, they had great chemistry here, but there are just some things that I think is so good where it's like, okay, that was a masterpiece. And they had a great feud that's extended out off and on over the last 12 years. This is 14 years of history with them. I think they were saying and things of that nature, going back to 2012. So 2012 is when they debuted. So 13, 14, 15, 16, 14 years. 14 years of history all culminated here. And this is the perfect storybook ending. Let's keep it that way. No need to do this. Just like I thought Undertaker and Triple H had the best match that they had the nice match to end with the end of an era match at WrestleMania. It could have just stayed like that, but then they had to come back and do all these other matches. I don't want to see that with Roman and Seth. And even at the post show, Triple H is talking about how if this is the last match, it's like, I want this to be the last match. There's no reason for Roman and Seth Rollins to ever have another match. Roman finally got his big win. Seth has gotten plenty of big wins clean over Roman Reigns, the world title. Let's just end it here. This is how clean I would have wanted Roman Reigns to defeat Brock Lesnar. But they never ended up going that route. And even after the post show, Roman Reigns was talking about with Seth Rollins. He was saying that what he was saying in the ring to him is that it's been them, basically. You're saying even since the Red Rooster was constantly always on them and everything. And he was talking about even when Dean Ambrose left, they knew it was going to be the two of them still holding down the fork at this place, still, carrying the WWE company. And they've both been such a big part of the main event scene, from the later PG era to throughout the entire reality era. Pretty much. During the entire reality era is when they debuted, going into the pandemic era and into the Renaissance era. And I know some people like to call this the Ruthless Depression era, but Renaissance era nonetheless. the aka the current era in WWE, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins have been through it all, and this is just the perfect storybook ending, the perfect character development ending. This is a great ending to Roman Reigns' character arc of never being able to get over what Seth Rollins did with that chair. And he did a great promo talking about how, God is the best storyteller and that this is what he teaches teaches his kids is that you make mistakes and you use those mistakes to learn how to get better. Just great around stuff. I love when pro wrestling can apply to life like this. Like, it was just phenomenal. A masterclass in storytelling. Roman Reigns putting out another banger at WrestleMania with CM Punk this year, and now another banger with Seth Rollins this year. Phenomenal. I can't go out of your way to see it. Definitely check it out. I can't use the words phenomenal, fantastic, tremendous anymore. You all could probably already tell how high this one is going to rank when I rank the matches. So yeah, overall, a really good SummerSlam weekend. SummerSlam, I thought, blew WrestleMania out of the park this year, because WrestleMania, it was, like, night one was it was what it was. Night two was on a whole other level. Like, night one was like down here, night two was up here. But here, consistently, night one and night two, I thought both delivered. Like I said, I would have loved to seen Seth Rollins. I would have loved to seen Seth Rollins. I would have loved to seen Trick Williams retain the championship. And there were some matches that were way better than others, but I didn't think, once again, there was a bad match. There was no bad match at all at this SummerSlam. Every match was either good to great, and hey, that's all we can always ask for as WWE and professional wrestling fans. Alrighty, let me get some water here. One moment, guys. All right. Yeah, my voice was starting to lose it right there. All right. So in the chat, see what we got here. MMY says, what is next for Roman? Honestly, yeah, coming out of this, I think what's next for Roman, and what probably definitely should be next, is a new wave of challengers. You have a lot of new talents coming up with Trick Williams, Oba Femi. I think eventually Roman Reigns is going to lose or put over Oba Femi and endorse him as the next big guy, and the next face of WWE. The person, I think there should be multiple guys, multiple girls. You don't want to have that one person just to be that one person you rely on as the top guy. You want to have multiple guys, multiple girls, multiple top stars in WWE. And that's what I would love to see they do with Oba Femi and Trick Williams, and put some more up there. But yeah, I imagine Roman next is gonna hopefully get some new challengers, not take on people that we haven't seen him wrestle against. Also too, I've heard the Rock movie schedule look like it's cleared, so maybe we'll finally get the Rock and Roman Reigns long-awaited match at WrestleMania 43 when they have that in Saudi Arabia. So we'll have to see how that all goes there and everything like that. But thank you for your question though in the chat. Really appreciate that. All right. Well, that being said, guys, I really appreciate you all coming in. I messed up last night with my vertical stream, but yeah, now we got the vertical stream and the horizontal stream both going here and stuff like that. So yeah, thank you all. And that being said, I will be back tomorrow to rank all 12 matches of SummerSlam from least to best. So be on the lookout for that. And in case you missed these reviews, I will be repurposing them into a one-stop shop video. So both night one and night two's reviews will be put together. So if you want to watch it, it'll have all the chapters and everything and stuff like that. So that being said, I'll be back either tomorrow or Tuesday for my ranking of every WWE SummerSlam 2026 match, which you'll be able to click soon there on the screen. And you can make sure to follow all my social media platforms in both the description and pinned comment below. Until next time, guys, take care.